Hello, everyone. I'm Dominic Copeland, and this is the Ish That Needs to Be Said. If you're just tuning in, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you come along this fantastic journey, fantastic voyage that we're on, making a difference, building this community that's going to go out into the world and make a difference in the way that things are happening. We are the ones. Now it's the time. This is the place. It's time to rock and roll. Let's go. Let's get it done. Today, my friends, is the day. Today is the day. Not everything goes right in life. Today, a lot of things didn't go right. Woo! A lot of things didn't go right. But you know that's okay because a lot of things went well. So some days you give your best effort, you do your best, you line everything up. And as Outkast said in their beautiful song, Sorry, Miss Jackson, you know, you can plan a picnic, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather. So you can plan the greatest thing ever, and sometimes it just doesn't go right. And I always tell people, you just have to enjoy the things that do go well, and you have to focus on what's most important and everything that goes wrong. So again, you have to focus on what's most important and everything that goes wrong. So when they talk about bridezillas and those brides that go crazy because they wanted everything to go right, they want the music to play at the exact same time, everything to go the way they wanted it to. But the purpose of you being there is to enjoy this beautiful start to this beautiful new life together. So everything could go wrong, but you only need one thing to go right. And that's for the two of you to be together. No matter what else happens, the two of you together, then everything went the way it needed to go. So we have to focus on those most important and pivotal things. I was doing some things today, and I was helping out the school. We're supposed to have a fundraiser at Wendy's. Went this morning. I got up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'm rocking and rolling. I'm doing my thing. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to, grab breakfast, start to support the fundraiser. Get there, and it's closed. There was construction going on, but there's been construction going on for a while, and it wasn't open yet. And it's supposed to open at, by the time I got there, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. It's supposed to open up by 6:30. Waited a little bit, still nothing, so I left. Then I came back later on, saying maybe it opens up later. So I came back in the afternoon, went back, and same thing. Matter of fact, it was blocked off this time, so you couldn't even get in there. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you guys set this up. You set it up. You gave us the date. And then you're closed, and you didn't tell us or let us know what was going on. So something that was outside of my control. It's embarrassing because you're trying to get everyone rallied to support support the cause, but something that happens that's outside of your control. So the best you can do is, sometimes it's a gift, and maybe out of this we'll get something even better, more amazing, and more fantastic. So if that wasn't meant to be, something even greater or better is meant to be, and that's what we're going to have, and that's what I'm excited about. So welcome, everybody. We're live, we're rocking and rolling, we're going. And I want to go live because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. The ish that needs to be said. Again, if you haven't listened before, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. But the ish that needs to be said, it's about saying all the things that we fail to say or don't know to say within society. And the only way for us to move forward and progress as a society is to say those things. Say the ish that needs to be said. Not be afraid to say it. Or even if we're afraid, get past the fear. Speak it into reality what must be spoken into reality. Because guess what? If we don't do it, someone else is speaking something entirely different into reality. Something detrimental, something that's going to hurt. So we've got to come together, my friends, and decide what we want our future to be, what we want our fates to be. Especially today, now more than ever. This world is, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's no bueno, as they say. A lot of things that are no good, but there's a lot of things that are good, a lot of things that we have the opportunity to make good and make great. So that's what I want to start to focus on. And I had a direction that I wanted to go in today, and I'm thinking about going a completely different direction because there's something else that I wanted to address. And that being, this week is National Teacher Appreciation Week. National Teacher Appreciation Week. So it's about all the great educators and teachers. I'm teaching myself. So I'm a part of that membership. I'm part of those ranks. So it's about appreciating all those great teachers that we've had and that we will hopefully continue to have, all those from the past that have made a difference in our lives, those that we may work with who continue to make a difference in our children's lives, and me as being in the profession, the difference that it makes in my life and the difference that I strive to make in the lives of my students each and every day. It's not easy. Nothing is easy, right? If it was easy or simple, most people wouldn't be doing it, or it wouldn't be a highly sought after field or difficult field, or one that you can probably maintain a lifestyle from if it was that easy. But it also doesn't have to be that hard. So I want to get more into teacher appreciation, but what's happening in the fields of education today and why some of it's just absolutely unnecessary. My friends, we're facing a crisis in education, a crisis beyond what you may have been told or may even understand it to be, a crisis where we are in trouble. The federal government, going into the pandemic, put money into education so that different technologies and so forth can be utilized to help get everyone through the pandemic. The government has started taking all of that money out all at once. Is expiring. And the government's not putting more money into the education system. Instead, it's funding wars and so forth. So we're seeing billions, multi-billions of dollars going towards these war efforts that aren't necessarily our own country's war efforts, but we understand there's some of it we need to be supporting. Some of it we might need to support a little bit less. Some of it we need to go in there and negotiate so we can bring it to a peaceful resolution. You know, that's another thing that I'll bring up. I don't want to conflate these two issues, but I know in my own community where I live, there's this struggle between people saying we support Israel and other people saying we support, the pro-Palestinian. And you got people on both sides of this debate, both sides of this travesty that's happening over the Middle East that's been happening for hundreds of thousands of years. And we can't find a way through it and a way to come together from it. And that perhaps is the greatest tragedy that we are facing today. I think one of the issues that we've had is that we went into it just picking sides. Not even just picking sides, but just looking at one aspect of what's happening. Say, people saying they're pro-Israel, which after the Hamas attack, I understand. We're supposed to be pro-peace, be pro-democracy, be pro what's right. And that last one is most important, be pro what's right. But if we just pick pro a nation, that puts us in a tough situation. So you would hope that a nation would go to war because there's been a wrong that's been committed and they're trying to right that wrong. So we're looking at pro being what's right in that situation. Because if that nation then goes out and starts to commit other travesties that go well beyond just making amends and just holding people to a standard of justice, or it goes to punishing other people that might not even be involved in the situation, may have nothing to do with it, but in your mind, everyone that's not you is them. Everyone that's not you is the enemy. You start to look at this at a different viewpoint that becomes dangerous, that becomes potentially deadly. And now you might fall into the wrong side of what you were once on the right side of. And then it becomes harder for people to now back that. Am I pro-Israel? Am I pro-Palestine? I'm pro what's right. I'm pro bringing about a peaceful resolution to the situation that doesn't just work for right now, but works for going forward in the future so that we don't have these same issues, these same travesties. I'm not the one to speak about this situation because it's been going on for well beyond my lifetime. So you get into a point where even here in America where we have the gangs and so forth, you get into a point where one person did something wrong, one member did something wrong to another gang member. They might have went out and killed, one gang member from another set. And then they retaliate. Then they go back and forth. But you get to a point where you're so far beyond it where you don't know who started what. And now it's just a series of retaliations or what's going on. And you have the latest round of attacks that people feel they're justified in doing. And other people say that's not justified and the way they went about it is completely wrong. I don't justify any of the violence. I don't justify any of what Hamas did. It's wrong, absolutely wrong. My fear is that we're creating more of these monsters right now. And there has to be a way through to a peaceful resolution where we can get above and beyond where we were previously. Because if not, how far will you go? When will enough be enough? When will all this come to a halt? When will there be justice? When will there be retribution? I think one of the things that we face here in America, a problem with Black Americans and white Americans. White Americans always have a fear that Black Americans are seeking retribution for the things that have been done to them. So they want to protect themselves from that fear of retribution. When most of the times we as Black Americans have just been seeking to set right what's been wrong. Just to uphold the promises that had been made that were never upheld. So there's a difference between seeking justice and seeking retribution, right? So I just had to say that, not get that off my chest, but it was something that we're going deeper and deeper into. And right now there's more protests that have been happening on the city level, throughout college campuses. Again, I'm not coming out pro-Palestine. I'm not coming out pro-Israel. I'm coming out pro what's right and having a peaceful resolution to this situation, bringing people to the table and making sure that those elements that are the most extreme elements, those elements that are the terroristic elements, are the ones that are being taken out of the equation, right? I think if we do that and we're able to come together and move forward, that perhaps will be one of the greatest accomplishments of our lifetime, to see something like that happen in that region. So hopefully that's something that we can move towards. Now on to the education and the teachers. So for all my teachers out there, I salute you. I thank you. We don't go to war every day where, as far as we're getting blown up and everything else, some people in some schools, it can be close to that situation. The school district I worked in, that I work in currently, a couple weeks ago or last week, there was a stabbing that happened there, with a teacher and a student attacking a teacher. And you see every day these accounts of teachers being attacked and so forth. It's not the easiest job on the planet. It's not the worst job on the planet. It can be difficult. And I liken it to the poem, The Man in the Arena. I like to say the person in the arena, because that person can be, in education, it's most often a woman, in many areas. So we have to salute the women that are working out there hard and dedicating themselves as teachers each and every day. But it's the people. It's the people that are out there and who are teachers, and the things that you have to go through in the arena where you are literally evaluated with all these spectators. You're in the front of the room, front of the classroom, the middle of the classroom, and it's you. Everything's on you to make this go right. Everything's on you, for the future of these students. Everything's on you as far as the curriculum and how that goes, as far as the lesson and how it's taught, as far as the scaffolding to make sure that all students can access it. Everything is on you. You are the person in the arena to such a degree that people do come in and evaluate you and what you're doing within the classroom and what can be done differently, what can be done more effectively, hopefully they're looking at also what you're doing good or what you're doing great as well, and looking at that. But sometimes it doesn't feel that way when you're being evaluated. It feels like evaluating all the worst things, all the worst parts. Everything that you're saying is not put into the proper context of how you're working with your students. And you, as an educator, know your students. You know that sometimes you have to reach them in different ways. There's different things that you have to do to get their attention, to get their buy-in, to get them to engage so that they can be empowered, so that they can be uplifted, so that they can be grown as people, as productive members of society, as change agents, as good people. That's our goal each and every day. It's a hefty goal. It's a lofty goal. And sometimes the things that you have to do just to get to that goal, just to get to working on the main thing, sometimes those things themselves can be overwhelming. When you have to focus on the testing that you have to do, when you walk into a room and you have to deal with 30 to 40 children or more, and you have to deal with all the different social emotional issues that you have to come across. You have to deal with people, with students that may not have the best socialization, especially coming out of COVID. And they were the group that in middle school, they had their education interrupted so that they weren't able to be within the school. And why is that important? Most people don't think of this, but in middle school, those are pivotal developmental years, especially developing social norms. So if you do not attend middle school and you miss out on all those social norms and how you're supposed to interact with each other, how you're supposed to carry yourself in a school environment, in a social environment, then when you get to the high school level, you're going to be behind in those developmental areas. So you may be doing things that, in middle school, you learned not to do that, but you didn't learn that because you didn't go. So now in high school, you're doing those things that normally you wouldn't be doing. Socio-emotionally, you might be acting in ways that you might have been acting in middle school, but you would have, over the course of those 3 years, you would have been progressing through that, and you would have help that you needed to get you through that. But you skipped all that, and then, boom, you're at the high school level, which is where I'm at. Work at the high school level. So now when you're in the classroom, you have to deal with all these different issues. You have to deal with students that are just coming into the country that don't know the language. Students that have been there for a little bit only know a little bit of a language. So you have, in the arena, you have all these different things that you're facing. And then you have to deal with sometimes the behavioral issues with students that might not have the socialization to have the respect that they should have within the classroom, even if you're respecting them. Because it's a two-way street. As an educator, you want to respect your students. You want to give them the best of you. Treat them with respect and dignity. Treat them as responsible. Hopefully uphold them to a standard. And I'm not saying that they are at that standard, but it's something that they reach toward and strive towards actively, because that's what you work on day in and day out. For your students to be upheld to this standard, and you're working with them, giving them the tools necessary to reach that standard. You're scaffolding them up there. Doing your best. And sometimes it's just an overwhelming process because you're up there at the front. You're getting the evaluations. You're getting the criticisms. It's just you. Sometimes it feels like it's just you against a tsunami of criticism, against a tsunami of self-doubt. Am I making the right decision? Am I doing the right things? Man, this is garbage. This lesson is not good. You're not doing a good job with the lesson. You got to do better. You got to be better. All these things that might run to your head as you're standing up there. But even though they might be, you still got to put on a smile. You still got to stand tall. You still got to engage and try to do your best to get your students to engage, to knowledge at its root, education at its root. It's the root word that I learned from Think and Grow Rich, educio, which means from within, to bring from within. So all of us as educators are up there trying to bring from within these students. We're not there to entertain. It's not a singing and dancing routine. My name's not Kevin Hart. No, my name's not Cat Williams. I'm not up there to be your comedian, your entertainer. I'm up there to be your teacher. I'm up there to connect to you so those special gifts that you have from within, you can utilize them to connect with the curriculum. I'm here to utilize my pedagogy knowledge, my pedagogical knowledge, to help you to do so, to help you to be more than what you've been before, to help you to engage, to grow, to utilize the tools that you have. I'm here as a teacher. But I think we fail to understand that there are students as well. And that the responsibility falls to the students to engage, to stand up and do what's necessary to get the job done on their end, to have a vision, have a goal, have a purpose, have a why. Why are you here each and every day? What is your purpose? What is the meaning to you showing up to school? Like Tom Brady said, it's going to be tough questions. And if you don't have questions, if you don't have answers to these questions as students, you're more than likely going to tap out or not give your best and not give your all because your why is not strong enough. You do not have enough passion, enough dedication. It's easier for you to say, you know what, I'm not going to show up than for you to show up. Matter of fact, I want you to show up and show out. Show your best, give your best, be your best. This is your arena as a student. This is your opportunity to show up and do what you do, to be seen, to be heard, to be fearless. And even in your fear, to be passionate enough to overcome it. We do not hold our students accountable enough in this game called life, in this field called education. We put all the onus on the teacher. The students aren't showing up. The teachers must not be doing entertaining lessons. The students aren't achieving all they can be. It must be the teacher. They're not getting the point across effectively enough to the students. I'm not saying that some of that doesn't occur. It's possible that it does. But I know when you come in, it's a person in the arena, and you have to do everything possible and imaginable just to get people to look and engage. There's a problem there. There's a huge problem. Because they should come in with the expectation that when you step into this classroom, you're about your business. When you step into this classroom, you are here to learn, to grow, to prosper, to get better, to do what you need to do. And bottom, baseline, you need to be paying attention. And if you're doing all these other things that take away your attention, that's not on the teacher, that's on you. That's on you. You need to be held accountable for your own actions. Because guess what? When you step in, you turn 18, when you hit 12th grade, you go to graduate. No one's going to accept in any career that you go into that they're responsible for your success, that they're responsible for you doing your job, that they're responsible for you paying attention. That doesn't make sense. No one is going to be okay with that. We have to set up ourselves, our students, our entire system up for success. And I give an example of what that means, because some might not be understanding. Some might say, oh, you're trying to skirt responsibility. Never a day in my life. But I also know when I step into there, it's a two-way street. This is a team. You got to do your part and I do my part. And the more and the better that we each do our part, the better that we become. The more we grow, the more we're capable of accomplishing, the more that we can be, the more that we achieve, the better the life that you can have. But if you don't learn the skills necessary for you to be accomplished, for you to achieve, for you to learn how to learn, I said the best thing you can learn from school is to learn how to learn. Learn how to organize your thoughts. Learn how to put them down on paper. Learn how to create presentations. Learn how to present to other human beings. Learn how to connect with other human beings without being afraid. Learn how to take questions. Learn how to take productive feedback. These are all skills you're going to need to be successful in this game called life. Ball out. Ball out. Take this ball of education and use it for all it's worth to get you to where you want to go. It might not be going to college. It might be starting up your own business. It might be going into other things. That's great, but use these tools. That's great. And not but and, not, but I said again, but. Let's take that out of the equation and utilize those tools that you learn and learning how to learn so that you can apply them to the other areas for your success. That's the game plan, my friends. If you get nothing else out of it, get that out of it. And then start to design your education, because once you get out of school, education should not, must not, cannot stop. If you're going to be successful, the most successful, that's only the beginning of their education. Because now they set on a path to their own education. No matter what field you're in, if you're in basketball, you're in football, you're in business, you're in academia, you're in law, you're a doctor, no matter what field you go into, if you're just an everyday person, you should always, every day, be seeking to learn, to grow, because that's the only way you're going to get to the next place of where you want to go. If you want to be accomplished, if you want to be successful, if you want to achieve, it's continuous growth. As Tony Robbins says, CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. Your education then becomes your responsibility. If you don't know how to be educated, then how are you going to succeed? How are you going to rise above and beyond your station in life? How are you going to be more than what you were yesterday, today, if you haven't put in any work to be so? It's like working out. It's like eating healthy. If you don't eat healthy, if you don't condition your body in any way, shape, or form, your body doesn't stay the same. It gets worse. You have to put in that work sometimes just to keep your body to where it is. And then if you put work on top of that, you might be able to grow, develop, and take your body to the next level. And it's the same thing with your mind. You're taking your mind to the next level. What are you putting in your mind? That's why you go to school, my friends, so you can start to put the good stuff into your mind. Start to grow yourselves. Start to grow your mindset. Start to grow your thoughts. Start to grow your belief systems. And if you're not doing any of that, you're losing in the game called life. And I'm not saying, again, you don't have to go to college and all that other stuff, but anyone that's in business, they had to study their business. They had to learn their business. They had to learn the principles of what success means in their business for them to stay in business. And the moment they stop that, they don't stay where they are. They regress. And that's why many businesses fail, because they fail to continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to benefit, continue to add. Instead, they stay packed with the knowledge that they had from 10 years ago, and that knowledge 10 years ago is obsolete today. There might be some fundamental aspects of it you can use, but knowledge has grown by leaps and bounds from what it was back then to what it is today. And we as teachers are expected to keep up with all that. We have to go, just to be a teacher, get your master's degree. And the thing I don't appreciate about it is you go get your master's, but no one's kicking in money on that. You got to pay yourself. What? Teachers are some of the most highly qualified, as far as credentials, highly credentialed professionals out there. Every year, multiple times a year, they have to get certifications. Go get your master's. Go get your CAGs if you want to move up into being a principal, vice principal, or any other role. Go get your doctorate. And then on top of that, there's tests that you have to take, and you have to get your licensing. And every year and every so often, you have to move up in your licensing, going from your initial to so forth, from provisional to initial and so forth. There's so many steps and tests that you have to take in being an educator, and there's so many, they call professional development points that you need to get every year for your development and growth. You're putting in hundreds to thousands of hours per year in your growth and your development, and often tens of thousands of dollars, often debt, as an educator that you're putting in. And no one is helping with that. Society is not helping with that. The government is not helping with that. Instead, we're taking all that money and sending it elsewhere. And right now, what's happening to me is an absolute crime, because we're looking at many school districts, most school districts, finding themselves in tough financial times because of the money that's been pulled away from the pandemic. So they have to lose positions that they desperately needed. They have to lose the funding that was there. It's not there. Many of these buildings are old and decrepit. Many of the services that need to be provided can't be provided. Many of the teacher salaries have lagged behind for years. Some of the most highest credentialed professionals on this planet, as well as some of the lowest paid professionals on this planet. And if we go per credentials that you need to have, it's even worse as far as the salary. Even worse. How can you say that you really respect and appreciate teachers if you're not even willing to invest in them in their growth and development, since they're so pivotal to society, and you're not even willing to give them the pay? At least do one or the other, if not both. You shouldn't have to go into debt to be a teacher. That's nonsense. There has to be a better way. To me, what I would say to all the teachers out there, to all the teachers unions out there as well, it's time to come together and decide how we want things to be changed. Decide how we want to make this better, because the way that education is happening right now, it cannot be sustained. It is not sustainable. Many schools are going into deep deficits. Right here in my own backyard, there's a school, North Andover Public Schools. The superintendent came to the school committee, and I believe it was a $4 million deficit that they're facing. $4 million deficit. And this is in a supposedly well-to-do school district, right, where the taxes are high and so forth. And they've had problems with substitutes and all kinds of things that have eroded the budget. So the school committee sent the superintendent home. Sent him home until they could figure out what to do. And I believe it was $4 million. It might have been $2 million, but I believe it was $4 million. So apologies if I misquote that number, but either way, it's in the millions, right? So something's not right there. The math is not mathing. This is not working. What we're doing, we're bankrupting our own school systems, and the school systems that are in the most trouble, because now we have the MCAS. Here in Massachusetts, we have the MCAS testing you have to take. In other states, they have different testing. And how well you do on that testing decides how much money, if any, that you get from the state and federal government. And the worse that you do on it, now charter schools that come into the area or have been in the area, now any students that go there, you have to pay double the percentage in some cases for those students to go to those charter schools. So the school has to take money out of their budget, double the money that they had to take out before, to pay for any of those students, help pay for any of those students that go to charter schools. You have a struggling school district. The students that are probably be leaving that school district to go to a charter school probably aren't the students that really need to go to the charter school. There might be some of your most high achieving students. Where in other areas, so some people might say, oh, you're having a deficit mindset. I'm not having a deficit mindset. I'm speaking to you about reality. All right. It's different if you tell me, okay, at those charter schools are here because they're academically advanced, and they're going to take your most difficult achieving students, those ones that have just come into the country, maybe, that English is not their first language. Maybe they've had interrupted language and they're not performing well on the MCAS, but the charter school is geared towards their success, helping them to be successful. So we're going to take those students, put them into the charter schools. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but I'm saying it wouldn't make sense either if you take, say, AP students or some of the highest performing students academically on those tests and move them into charter schools, because the charter schools are just getting students who are already achieving the standard. They're not working to help students achieve the standard, as we are every day in public schools. In public schools, public education is a right for anyone that comes into this nation. So it doesn't matter your background. And the more people you take that might have interrupted education, or English might not be their first language, now you're looking at moving them from the English speaking aspect of it. If someone's already speaking English, been here all their lives, or they already know it, you might be moving that person from here to here. The other person with their language It's not that they're not good at language. They just don't know the English language yet. If I went to another country, I wouldn't know that language yet, right? I'd have to learn. There's a learning curve. So you're taking someone that's just coming in and maybe they're hitting ninth grade, and now you're saying, okay, by the next year, I expect you to be here with these other students. Like, that's absolutely absurd and ridiculous. It's not a deficit mindset. It's just reality that, yes, they can achieve and accomplish. We're looking for growth. Okay, these students, they were here as far as their ability to learn the academic language of English, right? Now we got them and we moved them up here. Tremendous growth. And now we continue to move them up and up and up, but we're not given the time to do so. And we're not given the help and the resources to do so, especially if you're taking that away. And especially since many of the schools are just starting to experiencing those influxes over the last few years, especially during the pandemic. And now you're going to say to those schools, guess what? Good luck. We're taking away resources from you, and we're putting it in other places where they haven't earned, to me, the right to have those resources. They haven't earned the resources that we're going to be taking from you, because they're not even going to deal with the same population of students that you're going to deal with. They're not going to deal with the different social-emotional issues that you're going to deal with. They're not going to deal with the different languages, language diversity that you're going to deal with. I just don't see that as comparable. Put the money where it's needed. Invest the resources where it's needed. Don't tell me we don't have the resources. Don't tell me we don't have the money. Half the money we just sent for the wars that are going on to support other nations, you just take a third of that. And you can fund our public school systems. It is up to us as a nation. If this is truly what we say we believe in, and we keep saying that the United States of America is lagging behind, look directly at the investment that you're putting into those systems, that you're putting into education, and that you're working through for education, and where you're trying to get students to go in education. Look through all this, my friends, and then come back and let me know what you see. Matter of fact, why don't you get in the trenches with us? Why don't you get into the classrooms? Why don't you come teach some classes? Why don't you come meet the students? Why don't you come experience what's happening so you can have a better perspective, not just send out some surveys, not just collect some data. Get your behinds in the classroom, collect the real data. Find out what it really is, what's really happening, what it's really about. Show up. Do the job. Invest each and every day, your heart, your spirit, your passion. Just like all these teachers do, where they help students in so many different ways that benefit society. Sometimes a student comes in, and before they can engage with the curriculum, they have to engage with another human being. They have to engage with someone who cares. They have to engage with someone that's going to be looking out for them. Especially coming out of this pandemic and so many children facing so many difficult situations. I'm not saying we can't do both with the social emotional, with the diversity, or more than both, with the diversity and with the curriculum and the academic rigor. I'm just saying sometimes you got to clear the way for the person to be able to engage with the academic rigor. And sometimes you got to deal with things before you can get there to get them there. Sometimes you got to deal with things before you can get them there to get them there. And my friends, we're just not doing it. We're not upholding to that standard. We're not doing the things necessary to have the understanding of what it's really like in the classroom day in and day out. Sometimes a success is you help the student through the most difficult part of their young life. And then when you can get that and you can get them to engage academically, then you feel like a superhero. You feel like someone that did something. But a lot of times you're not able to get there. And then you just feel like someone that failed. You feel like someone that couldn't uphold to the standard, that couldn't get the job done. Sometimes as a teacher, you feel like you're not even a good teacher. Even though you might be great, even though the students might love you, sometimes you feel like you're just not upholding to all the things that they want you to do, because every day it's something new. It's a new task, a new mission, a new objective, a new agenda item, a new direction that you're moving in every day. And it's all on you. Nothing changes unless the teacher is able to implement it for change. We have to start bringing our students more into the loop. We have to start bringing our communities more into the loop. We have to start coming together. Nothing can change. If we're in a difficult situation, I'm going to say this and I hope everyone can hear this, because this is the ish that needs to be said, and this is for some of the realest ish I ever spoke. As a leader, I've coached teams, I've coached youth in different sports, I've led in different organizations, I've coached adults. As a leader, there's going to come a time where you're going to have to ask people to do more than what you can pay them to do and what you can't make them do. The only way they're going to do that for you, for themselves, each other, for their students in this case, is the culture and the community and the relationships that you have built and developed with them. If they feel that you generally care and that you're there for them and that you're there and that you would make the sacrifice for them as well, and that you would give your all for them as well, and that you care about and you respect and you appreciate them, even if you're pushing them to be better and to go into different directions, they'll respect you for that. They'll respect you if they believe that's coming out of a place that's meant for them, that's meant to help them. Not that you're telling them that, but you're showing them that, and you're working towards that each and every day. And you're giving them the rewards of that. Because at some point, you're going to need them to do more than what you can pay them to do. You're going to need them sometimes to be more than what you pay them to be, to make sacrifices that you have no right to ask them to make. But you're going to need them to do that in order to climb that mountain of adversity that you're facing, in order to come on top and through the things that are holding you back, in order to get out of the toughest situation you might never have thought of. And if you haven't done that, if you haven't built those relationships, as Stephen Covey said, if you haven't paid into that relationship bank, that relationship savings, if you haven't paid into it and all you do is come in and take out, it's going to be one point as a leader where you're charging ahead, you're charging forward. You're going to look behind you. You might see your executive team there, but when you look back further, you'll be all by yourself. You left everyone behind. You'll be all alone. And you'll be going quietly into that good night, and you'll be gone. Because you forgot the most important aspect of leadership. It's the people. It's the community. It's the family. It's the children. It's the people that you're asking to execute the things that you want to have done, the teachers. And if you don't even show up, if you don't even build relationships, if you don't have conversations to come to a mutual understanding, you've already lost. You just don't know it yet. Because there's going to be no avenue for you to win. You push and you push, and eventually you won't be able to move any further. My message is, in a genuine nature, address people, build those relationships, come out from the shadows. Say, look, this is what we're facing. This is what's going to happen. But it's not going to happen on my watch if we all stand together, if we all come together, if we all work together. I believe this is the best direction forward for us so that we can all achieve, so that we can all have a better experience here as teachers, as educators. I'm putting the strategies in place. I'm and putting the things in place necessary for us to be successful, utilizing the data. But I need you. I cannot do it without you. I'm here with you. I'm here for you. But this is the direction that we have to go in, because this is the direction that's going to get us to where we need to go. And if we get along that route and we find out, hey, it's not the best direction for us to go in, we'll make the changes that we need to as we go along, but we got to make them together. We have to be together as we go down this road. Because if we do not, we will fail, we will falter, we will fall. And we simply cannot. We simply will not. But I need each and every one of you to be willing, as you have been for years, to continue to give your best, continue to give your all, continue to have an open relationship and conversation where we can have feedback, where we can understand what's happening at your level as we implement these changes, because that's going to be crucial and monumental, because we need to have that feedback as quickly as possible so we know, are we going in the right direction? Is this working? Do we need to tweak things here or there? Do we need to shift directions altogether in this area? We cannot do that unless we're working together as a team, because when things get worse, we need to be at, and we will be at our best. We will rise up. We will show them that we're better than the numbers that they've given us. We will show them that we're better than the position that they say that we're in. We will show them who we truly are as a district, as a community, as each and every school. We will truly show them who we are, what we stand for, and what we're about. And we will not stop. We will not quit until that goal has been achieved. We'll show them the true heart and character of the work and dedication that you put in every day, because, dang it, you deserve that. Damn it, you deserve that. You deserve to be appreciated. You deserve to be respected. And I'm going to go out there and help you get your respect. Let's come together, follow me. Damn it, let's get the job done. It's time to go. Let's go. If it's me, that's how I approach it. And I'm saying that, my friends, at some point, that's how it's going to need to be approached. Use all the data, use everything else. Make sure you have the systems in place, because that's crucial as well. But it can't be all systems. The pendulum can't swing that far where it's just all systems, all data, no relationships. That's a recipe for failure. It can't swing the other way where it's all relationships without the data, without the strategies. We need both so that we can come together and find our path to success. The pendulum can swing the way it needs to swing. And when it varies one way or the other, all right, let's get back in balance. Let's win. So, my friends, I went off a little bit in a different direction today because I felt that was necessary. It's what needed to be said. It was what's in my heart, and this is the ish that needs to be said. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. And we can't reach full appreciation until we can come together and transform how education is done within our society. The way it's done now is not the best way. It's not the way we need to have it done. We need to respect education. We need to pour the money into it. We need to not pour, but invest the money into it. Because the more we invest, the greater the returns that we're going to get. And invest it into the right things strategically, where it's the development and the growth of the teachers, where they're not left alone to pay these hefty bills, where they go into debt, where they can live the lifestyles that they should be living for the work that they put in, and the standards that they have to reach, and the certifications and professional credits that they have to have. If you're going to be one of the most credentialed human beings on the planet, you should be paid as such. If you're that valued in the classroom, as supposedly they say you are, then there should be compensation for that as well. Let's come together. Let's make a difference. Let's do right. Let's do what needs to be done, my friends. Now is the time. This is the place. We are the ones. Let's put together this vision for education for our nation. Other people have done it throughout the years, but they've done it in a way that's detrimental. Let's do it in a way that's beneficial, that uplifts, that actually makes a difference within our students, within our teachers, within our communities. Let's transform ourselves. Now's the time. This is the place. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, as it's been foretold. No one's coming to save us. Put on your cape. It's time to save ourselves. But we won't have to be superhuman if we all join together. All we have to do is be who we've always been. And that's showing up as our best each and every day. And my friends, if we do that, together, united, I promise you, with the vision, it will be more than enough. It will be more than enough. More than enough. My friends, I'm Dominic Copeland. This is the ish that needs to be said. Keep believing, keep achieving, keep listening, hit the like button, subscribe, because we're just getting started. Now's the time. This is the place. We're about to change the world. First, we do that by changing ourselves. And then we'll uplift and enlighten all of humanity. I'll see you here next time, my friends. Ish that needs to be said. Thank you.